Hey, what's up, motorcycle friends? Today I'm going to get rid of this big giant plastic license plate holder thing. I don't know what else you call it. With a much smaller, tiny aluminum bracket that will fit here. So let's go over to the bench and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so here you can see these are the parts that you need in order to remove the ginormous fender off the back of the Suzuki and replace it with this tail tidy kit. I originally wanted to go with a company called Vagabond Motors. They made a very nice kit and it pretty much looks exactly like this, but they were back ordered until who knows when. And me being super impatient and not being able to wait for that product to get back into stock, I ordered this off of Amazon. I'm pretty sure it's just a Chinese knockoff, but it is made out of metal, aluminum. It seems to have some nice features to it. I guess it doesn't look like it's made like crap. But they include this. They include this bag of bolts that you need to reinstall it. It has some spacers that I'm pretty sure you need to use when you're trying to put this back onto the bike. Some zip ties if you need to zip tie up the wires. And these little tubes, I really don't think I'm going to need these. It doesn't say what they are. I feel like they're like the heat shrink wrap. So like if you're going to splice the wires, you could put this over it and use a hairdryer and shrink wrap it around the exposed, the bare wire, so you can get like, you know, a nice clean finish. But I don't think I'm going to need these because I'm not going to do any cutting. I'm going to use the wires and the turn signals and the license plate light that's on the original Fender, because it can all be mounted onto here. So that's what I'm going to go do now. First I got to take the bike apart, and then I'll show you how to use the original parts with this. Alright, before we can remove this tail off the back of the bike, we first need to take off the two side panels and the seat. And you do that with a 5mm hex. Take this off, pop out the side panel, take off the other one, pop it out, and the same 5mm hex will remove the two bolts that hold the seat down. Then we can get into the wires where the turn signals and the license plate light are located, and I'll show you that after I get all this done. Alright, so once you have the seat off and the back glove compartment off, you'll look on there's 3 wires that have this kind of removable zip tie around it. Just take that off because you need to be able to get the wires to move around. And then there's another one back up in here, like this. Don't take it off, just reach in there and do the best you can at loosening that zip tie just so you can move the wires. And then you can see here you've got a black one, which I've already disconnected, a gray one, which is here, which I'll disconnect for you now. It's just got a little clip. You just push up on it and then it slides out. And then this white one, this white connector, I already disconnected because it's a pain in the neck to do. It's way up in there. You kind of have to go at it from both ends and wedge your hand in there, get a hold of this little clip here. You pick up on the clip, and then I just pulled the wire to disconnect it. So now I have the 3 wires disconnected. Now I'm going to go back up into the glove compartment area and pull those wires through the zip tie to free them. And I'll show you what that looks like. This is the glove compartment area. The back seat, the passenger seat comes off. And these are the wires I was talking about. There's these 3 wires here, which had a zip tie around them. I disconnected that. So now I should be able to pull these up through here. Here's one. And here's the black wire. And then here's the gray wire. So you're going to pull these 3 wires out, okay? And just so you can get a good look, okay, there's 3 different colors, so you really can't mess it up. And they just snap into those little quick connectors. But I'm going to reuse all of these wires, so I'm not going to do any cutting or anything. I'm going to go around, take off the tail part, and let's take a look at that. Okay, here we are looking underneath the rear of the bike. There are 4 bolts here. They are 10 millimeters. Just get, like, you know, a socket wrench and get in there. There's 2 right here, and then there are 2 that are tucked back up in here. They're a little harder to get to, but not impossible. So you're going to loosen up all these, and then this whole unit should just drop right out, and we'll pull it all out with all the wires. So let me go ahead and unscrew these bolts, take this out, and then we'll take it over to the workbench, and we will pull apart the different pieces that we're still going to use on the new license plate holder. After you remove the 4 bolts, there is a little clip that's right in here that's supporting the fender, and you have to get your thumb in there, and you'll feel the little knob, and you got to push it towards the gas tank, and then the whole thing will just drop out like this, and then all the wires come out, and we have completed phase 1. So let's go to the bench and take this thing apart. Okay, so now you see we have the fender out here on the workbench. There are 5 Phillips head screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I already took off 4. I'm going to take off this last one. You need to remove these so that you can get to all the wires. And save these because you're going to need, I believe you're going to need to use 2 of them for something else later. So then we just pop this thing off. Don't need that. And we can get to the wires for the turn signals and the wires for the license plate. So I'm going to do the license plate light first. Okay, I'm going to take out these 2 very long screws, put them over to the side. I don't think we're going to be using them again. So let's get this one out and this washer out. And then you can see that we can then go to this side and pull this whole thing off of here. You know, it would probably help first if I cut these wire. So you want to get in here. So you want to get in here, right in here, and remove this zip tie that I didn't think about. So, and I've got these really nice cutters. They're curved a little bit, and they got like a little needle point so you can get into like smaller areas. Ah, there we go. Okay, now the wires are free. Now we can pull this out. Okay, the license plate wire, we can pull this whole thing out of here like this. Pull off the rubber gasket because we're going to need that. Put this down. So out of this whole contraption, the light and this bracket, we're not going to use this bracket piece, but we are going to need to use this grommet, so you can turn this thing back inside out or right side out, however you say it. We're going to need that, and we're going to get rid of this, so we don't need that. And we're going to take our license plate light and just stick it off to the side because we have 2 more things to remove: the turn signals, and we need to get a little wrench for both of those. So I'm going to go ahead, pause the video, get all that apart, and get ready for assembly on the new bracket. So here I have the pieces that are left over: the license plate light and the 2 turn signals, and that's all going to fit onto this bracket. Now, I went ahead and I took the rubber grommet and I already installed that. It took a little bit of messing around with, but you can see here on the inside, okay, there's like 2 little rubber knobs. They fit in. They just take a little bit of practice of just moving them around and getting them to fit. And then once you pull the wire through, it will pull out the rest of this rubber gasket, and you just keep pulling that through. Now here's one difference between this Chinese knockoff and the Vagabond motors that I noticed is that the gasket on this, or the bracket for this, isn't as wide as the Vagabond motor. So the rubber gasket actually hangs over a little bit. I don't know what that's going to do, if that's going to be have any problems, we'll find out. But then this should just slip into here like this. Make sure the light is facing down so you can light your license plate. And then you need to take 2 of the shorter screws that came out of the other part of the fender, and those are going to go back in here. You have to use the shorter ones because I lost my screwdriver. You have to use the shorter ones because you're not using this other plastic piece. Now I'm kind of curious. I wonder. Nah, that would be stupid. You're not going to use it. So you're going to take the shorter screws and you're going to put them in here, and they fit perfect. Make sure you use the washers. I took the washers off the longer screws, but these fit perfectly in here. And the license plate light is now securely mounted with the rubber grommet so that it helps keep out any dirt and water and all that stuff. And it does hang over the edge a little bit. I guess it doesn't really look that bad. I don't see an issue with it because of the seals. I don't think that water is going to get back down in there. So far, so good. So the next thing is the turn signals, and I will show you a trick that I did. When you pull them out, just make sure you remember which one is left and right. So the gray one was left, and I just marked it with a little L because sometimes I do stupid things and I put things on backwards. So that's just going to make sure that you feed this through what's going to be the left side of the license plate. Okay, and then this will fit right into there, and then you'll use your bolt that you took off before and tighten that on here. Now I see here you're gonna have to turn it so you can adjust it the way you like it, and I might wait until it's actually on the bike. This rotates just to make sure that it's in a good position. Probably should go somewhere around like that, but I think I might leave it loose for now, just so until I get it on the bike and I make sure it's lined up, then I'll go in and tighten them. So I'm going to go do the other one, and then we should be ready to use this package of bolts. Has some spacers in it, and attach it back onto the bike, hook up the wires, and we'll be done. So let me do that, and then we'll head back over to the bike. All right, so here we are at the back of the bike. The bracket, I got the blinkers on, the license plate light is on. Now I'll tell you another difference between this knockoff Chinese model and the good made in the USA Vagabond model is this center, this hole on the top right here. 3 wires have to fit through this hole, and they just barely fit. It took me a little bit of playing around with. I will give you one little hint. Only pull the wire through in the beginning this far, because you can see the rest of it has a plastic cover on it and it's really thick. So if you pull them through just to the first part, you only have to deal with a much thinner wire, but it still takes a little time of moving them around and trying to fit this square peg through a round hole 3 times. But I was able to do it, and then just very carefully pull the wires through. You don't want to yank too hard and break it. Now I know why they did include those like cover plastic pieces, I guess you could just snip these off, feed them through and re-splice them back together, but I didn't really want to do that. I'd rather just have it as close to original as I can get it. And it did work, just takes some time, but it's that hole, it needs to be drilled out bigger. So you could, before you even get to this, if you have a Dremel or some way to make that hole bigger, which I don't, you could, you know, drill it out just a tiny bit more and everything will fit even easier. But it does fit now. So now what we got to do is, hope I did all this right. These wires underneath here, the tail, there's a little square spot, and these wires will fit right back through there. And you're going to go up onto the top and pull them through. Now before I pull all those through to the top, I'm going to get my bolts ready. So you've got these nice bolts that come with it. They are 4mm hex and a washer, so you're going to put on the washer first, and then there's a spacer that's going to go on here also. So we're going to start with the side closest to the front, and I could see another issue here with these. I don't understand why these are screwing on, but it might make my life easier in the long run because now it can't fall out. But these holes are kind of large, so I'm gonna see how it works for now, but maybe I might pull this back out and get a larger washer on this side so that it fits in that hole better. So I'll take my other one, put that through here, and then put my spacer on here. And it's kind of nice that they sort of screw on. I don't think they're supposed to, but it will make your life easier when you're trying to put this on. And I might go ahead and just put all of them on, since they all seem to, since the spacer seems to be able to just screw on there. Nope. I don't have to try to hold it. So let's get this one. Let's drop that on a tire. All right, let's put this in here. Put the spacer on. And then one more. Oh, and you know what? I am seeing something interesting here. They do give you 8 washers. So maybe you're supposed to put one on top of each. So I'm going to pause this, go back and make that adjustment. So it wasn't easier to put on all 4 and try to put them up there. It was actually easier just to do the front 2. Kind of got those just started a little bit. I couldn't really get a good job like getting it started with my hands. So it was easier just to put this on the bolt first, and then line it up to the hole and then get it started. And then you just need to keep going around and around, doing each one a little bit at a time. Keep pulling each one in just a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, until you have them all tight. And I think that is all of them that are tight. So it's not too hard, and I know why they gave you extra washers. It wasn't for what I used them for, but it's for these locking nuts. But you don't need them because, I mean, I guess you could put them on just for security on the top here, but on this, the way Suzuki was set up, on the other one there was no bolt on top. It just screws into like a threaded hole. So I have them, came with the kit, and it won't hurt to throw them on there just for a little extra security. And that's probably why you needed the other washer to put it on top here. But I'm not going to worry about it. I'll just screw these down and I'll just snug them up a little. I won't make them too tight. I think I'm going to go back around all of these just one more time, but I think I got them on. And then I'll move the camera, show you hooking the wires back up, which should be much easier than before because now we have a little bit of extra wire to work with because the other bracket was longer. So that should be easy. I'm going to have to coil up some of the wires and zip tie them somewhere around inside, and I'll show you that. And then hopefully I turn on the bike and everything works. And that would be a huge plus because I don't want to have to go back and put all this stuff back on the other fender and put it back together. We are now back up at the top of the bike. The wires ran through. There's some extra wires, so I'm gonna have to I'll go back and zip tie that. But what I did was I went in here and I pushed everything through the zip tie that's down here that I didn't take off. It was easy. And then I just will go back and pull that tight. I hooked up the gray and the black, and I left the white just to show you. If you look at this, there's a little tiny notch right on the top of the plug, and there's a cutout right here in the other side, and so you just got to line those up and it just snaps together like that. And then what I'm going to do is to make this look nice. Ooh, I see a problem. I went through the bracket for the seat, so let's quick undo that. Go around here, go around there, and plug that back in. All right, so then I'm going to go up to the top and I'm going to try to pull everything through so it's kind of straight and sort of back where it was. Kind of just gets tucked in there. I think that'll be perfect. And I'll just push that down. This is the other wire that I installed that's for my phone charger. I did that on another video. And everything here looks good, so the seat can go back on here, and then everything here is going to kind of get tucked back up in here somehow. I have this zip tie that I'm going to go back around all of these wires with here. And then I've got these extra wires here. I think I'll just zip tie them together and tuck them off to the side like that. So I still have some space in this non-existent compartment, enough at least to put my hat in. So once I zip tie this back in, I will put everything back together. Now I probably should start it and make sure everything's working now, but I'm very confident in this procedure, so I'm going to put everything back together. I'm going to put the seat on, the rear passenger seat on, and then we'll try it out and see how it looks. All right, so as you can see, I got everything together. It looks pretty good. I think I got the turn signals adjusted so they're even at the same angle, and I have power on. You can see the license plate light is working. That's good. And let's just check out the turn signals. Nice. So all the wires worked. Everything went back together nice and easy. I zip tied a few things, made it look nice and neat in there, so I still have room in my passenger compartment. And overall, I think the license plate looks pretty good. If I was going to rate it between this and the Vagabond Motors one, I would probably wait to get the Vagabond's plate thingy, whatever you want to call this, license plate holder. I think they make it, I think it's made better, and there's a few features that I showed you that I think are better on the Vagabond. This is the cheap Chinese version. It was half the price, and I was a little impatient. I didn't feel like waiting for the other one to come back into stock. Overall, this was pretty easy install. A couple of little hiccups, but they're easy to get past. I think it looks good, and if I was going to rate this on my racing flag system of red, yellow, green, or checkered flag, I would have to say I wouldn't give it a checkered flag. It's not quite a win, but I would go green. I'd give this a green flag for a rating. If this is something you're interested in doing, this is a decent product, and I think it'll make your bike look really good. Or wait, pay double the price. I think I paid like 39 bucks for this. I think the Vagabonds is 70 bucks. So pay 70 bucks, get a product made in the USA. And yeah, that's all I got to say on this. Overall, I think it was a good job. Thanks for watching. Please, subscribe and like this video if you liked it. Give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. Leave a comment so I can fix my videos in the future and make them a little more entertaining for you. All right, thanks for watching.